Good afternoon, third, fourth, and fifth grade teams. Today you all will have the opportunity to continue working on your collaborative math planning within your PLTs and get the time to continue planning your upcoming math units. Before you get started with your teams, we wanted to review the collaborative planning process, keeping in mind that you might be at different stages of this right now with a certain unit, but being mindful of each step as you continue your work with collaboratively planning together. So jumping in, step one, remember we're looking at the logistics of the unit and the calendar. Using CMAP, determine your next unit up for math instruction and determine how long CMAP gives you to teach that lesson. Next, you'll look through the calendar to determine a reasonable start date for this unit, making sure you consider your current unit and days needed to complete that. Make sure also that everyone is on the same page regarding start and end dates for the unit, thinking how long will it last. Based on the determined start date and the number of days needed for instruction, are there days that need to be possibly cut from the unit? Be sure to count forward to ensure that you have enough time to cover the unit plus any remaining units by the end of the year to determine if anything needs to be trimmed up at all. Also, take into consideration if the calendar is not working in your favor, the weight of these standards on the EOG. Step two, thinking about your desired results, and it's all about those standards. When you go to unpack the standards with your PLTs, make sure that you're reading each standard using the DPI unpacking document. Silently read through the standards individually, then come together and share as a group what the standard says and what it is asking of the students. And you'll record any of these observations in your team's planning document template that you guys created. Next, you'll think about strategies. While unpacking each standard for the unit, record the strategies needed to teach the skill. For example, will they need to know certain formulas? Will they need to connect their prior knowledge? Will they need to know the meaning of certain vocabulary terms? While working through this section, be sure to record in the team planning document for your reference later while actually teaching the unit. Step two is the evidence. How will you know when the students understand and have learned those standards? Here is where you will create the summative assessment for the unit. If this is a larger unit, think about a way to possibly chunk it up and assess as you go so that at the end of the unit is not such a huge unit test. Start with a CMAP given assessments and work from there. Keep in mind, work smarter, not harder. As a team, decide what questions to include, change, or add. Think about the EOG documents we looked at our previous meetings that has the sample test questions and focus where the meat of the test will be seen. Expose them to the types of questions that they'll see from the EOGs. Do not spend your precious planning time worrying about the format of these assessments. I know we have some font lovers in here. That can be done later as an action step from one of the team members. Now, once we have unpacked the standards and created our assessments, we are ready to dive into the actual learning plan, the actual teaching. During this step, you'll be planning your daily lessons, starting with what is provided on CMAP. Read through each daily lesson, determine the lesson objective or topic, and list the lesson activities on your planning document. Here, you can mark all areas that apply for the lesson structure, keeping in mind that each lesson will not show all the lesson structure types. However, you want to be sure that throughout the whole unit, you can see a variety of whole group, small group, partner work, or stations where they fit best. Next, you will identify your guiding questions and common misconceptions. Thinking ahead to where students might struggle gives you time to problem solve as a team, a way to best support these needs of your students. You will also be planning and adding in other opportunities for formal and informal assessments during this step. Think about exit tickets, check-ins, or other common assessments that might be needed to check for understanding. Highlight these on the planning document so you are aware of them and know what to include in gradebook and everyone is on the same page. Here is the the lesson plan template. I know that each of the grade levels have made a copy of this and is added to your team drives. If there are any other stakeholders involved in teaching the unit, be sure to share this unit plan with them. For example, Ms. Fox, Ms. Weller, Ms. Mayor could all benefit from seeing the whole picture of the unit to provide the best support to your students in your grade level. Lastly, you're thinking about next steps and any action items left to complete. Determine the remaining actions that need to occur to finalize the unit and assign roles and determine completion dates. There is a place on your planning template to record all of this at the bottom. As you work today to continue planning a unit or start planning a new unit, be sure to follow this process and let me know if I can support you in any way, or if you have any questions, just let me know. Happy planning!